Hey, I'm going to share my impressions of what I thought about the Investfest 2023, late August 2023, their third annual. I have notes here, so I will occasionally glance down. Forgive me for glancing down. If you haven't heard of Investfest before, it's basically a conference bringing together black entrepreneurs, black billionaires, black business people, black investors, many of them millennials, and it's sponsored by EYL, Earn Your Leisure. And so Puffy, Diddy, Puff Daddy, whatever you want to call him these days, he was the first keynote, and he just called it the Hustler Super Bowl. It's the Investor Super Bowl, 20,000 people together of one accord for the purpose of financial literacy, making deals, networking, investing, and improving and scaling our businesses. So, lineup was crazy. They had everybody from, as I said, Puffy, Robert F. Smith, Kathy Wood, Tabitha Brown, even some people that were in the VIP. If you had a VIP ticket for 1800, you could attend on Friday night and see Lala and Jermaine Dupri and a bunch of other extra people that did not appear on Saturday and Sunday. I think that what I got for my $250 early bird ticket was priceless. I'm just going to start with that right there. Like, it's a freaking no-brainer. It's a no-brainer for that price. Like, you can't say it's because of the money, because they make it easy for you. Now, I'm going to give you some of the things that I thought could be improved upon. These are not criticisms. I guess it's constructive criticism, because I'm not saying this from a place of hate. I'm saying it from a place of love, and I'm Gen X. I have spoken at many conferences myself in the early 2000s and beyond. So I have a lot of experience speaking and attending conferences. That's where I'm coming from, and I attended this one. So the first one, which I know other people have said, it was hard to understand some of the speakers because it was a lot of reverb. I know that from, managing sound as a voice actor, that you have to record in places and speak where, the room is treated and your equipment is, positioned properly. Second thing I'll mention is that it was very frustrating when you came in to register, because there were no emails or app notifications explaining how to do it, and there were no people there, like conference volunteers and staff, there to direct you. I basically had to ask people that were standing in line each time, what is this line for? What is this line for? And then spend 10, 15, 20 minutes in a line before or after that, because it was the wrong line. I had to ask the people. So what it was you were supposed to go to one area that was hidden, like kind of back in the cut, and show your QR code from your ticket, and then you got a wristband, and then you come out and then you get in the appropriate line after you get your wristband. It just seemed like an extra step. But I don't know how they did it the first 2 years. I just think this one was definitely disorganized. Schedule changes. There were times, so I mentioned Diddy a couple of times. When I came in, the app said that he was going to appear at noon. He ended up not coming out till like 3:30, but it was noon, and they updated the app to say that he would come out at 3, but there was still delays. And none of those were like being discussed. Like, nobody knew anything. We're all asking each other what's happening, what's going on, and I don't know. So it was weird. There were no people announcing it from the stage, talking about that, we were going to reschedule, nothing in the app, and no email. If there were push notifications from the app about a session that was going to start, a lot of times, at least on the first day, I think on the second day too, but definitely on the first day, the session was already in progress for like 15, 20 minutes by the time the notification popped up. So if you didn't know, you were going to be late if you were relying on that. Also, it was hard to find seats because, and I'm not talking about the VIP seating. I wasn't a VIP. I didn't try it. But in the back, there were a lot of times where people had things on the chair. They could have a purse, a phone, a notebook, something on the seat. Because I sometimes just like in the car, when I get in the car, I put my bag on the passenger seat. You know what I mean? I know nobody's going to sit there, but that's just naturally where I put it. And then if somebody wants to sit there, I have to pick it up. Well, if you're in that conference room, that auditorium, whatever, and there's something on the seat, maybe you just did just that. Maybe you just put your bag there just because it's a habit, but you weren't saving it. So I don't know. It would be nice to do something like have someone again from the stage saying, "Hey, if you have an available seat next to you, can you raise your hand?" Like that's just like a quick, easy way to make sure everybody gets seated and that there's not commotion. Because the clips that I have from Investfest where there's people speaking, you could see people walking in front of the screen going back and forth the whole time. It's like kind of rude, but maybe they couldn't find a seat for all that time because it just looked like they were all taken. There was no announcement from the stage as far as where to go eat. I kind of had to follow crowds, and sometimes that works, but sometimes it doesn't because, like I said earlier, I was following crowds and getting in lines that I wasn't supposed to be in because I hadn't gotten my wristband first. There was a food hall, which was inside the building, and then I think there were food trucks outside the building. But never at any time did I see an email, an app notification, or someone from the stage explain what those options were and where to go. Like, how do you find these places? Georgia World Congress Center is not little. It's not a small place. It is a maze. You have to know where you're going. You can't just wander around and try to figure it out. It's not happening. So that was my last complaint. I don't know that this could happen next year or what. I know this takes a lot of planning for an event this size, but it would be great to have some breakout sessions to interact with speakers. Doesn't have to be the celebrity speakers. You know what I'm saying? Celebrities draw people, but whoever has the knowledge, let's be able to even network even better by getting people in a smaller room who are all interested in the same thing. And yes, there were a lot of people, but you could have that broken up. Maybe they could, if it's something is really popular, there could be an encore session the following day or something like that. Because in a huge auditorium of that size, it's just really difficult to connect with anybody that's not sitting next to you or to know, what's going on with people. Of course, we didn't have name tags or titles of what we do or anything. Maybe that could have helped too because everyone's there for a different reason. Some people are into crypto. Some people are into real estate. Some people want it all. Some people just want one small niche. So those are just a few of my thoughts and ideas. Again, I really appreciate everything the EYL team has done to get it up to this point. It's phenomenal. They didn't have any fighting or brawls or anything going on like that. I mean, it was really well put together. It just needs a little bit more help with the organization. And to my credit, as far as I'm always going to support these guys as long as they stay on the up and up. But I'm currently a unemployed, laid off UX writer / content strategist. I'm well adept at writing app copy, web copy, all that sort of thing. So emails. So to that point, any of those things that I mentioned about the technical stuff, I would love to help and be a part of that team. I could write the email. The email was scroll, and everything was in all caps. Extremely difficult to read that. And like I said, some of the push notifications were late. They didn't explain certain things. So, I could really help on that team. But if not, I'll see you guys next year. And I do think, despite all the stuff that I said in this video, that it was totally, totally worth it, especially if you got the general admission ticket. I plan to bring my college-age niece with me next year. She's a student at SCAD now, so she's very interested, and that's what we got to keep doing is, passing on this financial literacy to Gen Z and the generations after it. We can't be like, my parents and my grandparents and all those people that just couldn't teach us because they just didn't know. We have the info now, we have the resources, we have to support the people that want to give it to us. Again, thank you for watching this video. If you want to see a couple of clips from Investfest that I recorded, you can watch one of these.